My name is John Jimenez.
I lived in 206, which is one of the most dangerous, gang-infested areas. I was living there from about 1 to 5. It was horrific. My mom sometimes didn't let me play outside, and it wasn't until I got older and I realized that's what those loud, booming sounds were. Gunshots. A lot of students that go to Narbonne come from this neighborhood, and they get trapped. It's just really sad.
When my mom got pregnant, my dad decided to move us to Gardena, which is where we live now. They had a lot of disagreements, and there was one incident. They just started getting too out of hand, and he said, well, I'm gonna move out. And she said, okay, fine. So my dad said, you're the man of the house, John. I was really angry because he had left me there with my mom. I felt like, well, Dad, this kind of should have been your responsibility. This shouldn't have been me. It should have been you. I think I had to grow up because now I was the man of the house. My mom's, right-hand man and, helping her with everything she needed.
Se ha agarrado como el papel de papá de Leandro y él está siempre ahí, pendiente, todo. Es como si fuera un adulto ya, sí.
When my mom got pregnant, I was really excited to see if my brother would play, but I think when it was 2 or 3 years old, he started having seizures. It was so scary to see a small kid. I mean, it was just horrifying to see him with the blotchy skin. His eyes were rolled back, and I would think every single time that he was dying. Some nights I'd wake up and my mom's like, John, we're gonna go to the hospital. We didn't want to call the ambulance because the ambulance would cost a lot of money. You cannot cry, you cannot get scared because you know what? Your mom's relying on you, your brother's relying on you, and there is no way that you're gonna let them down. We gotta get help as soon as we possibly can and give the most compelling story, get the neighbors to come and drive us to the hospital. They would act like they weren't home sometimes because it would just happen so much. There was not 1 week, I think, that I wasn't at the hospital. The doctors normally spoke in English, and my mom didn't speak English at the time. And she doesn't speak English even till now. And then sometimes it was hard because I didn't understand. The English vocabulary was much larger than what I knew at that age of 5 and 6 and 7. So serving many times as my mom's interpreter, well, I had a lot to do with how my mom got information. My brother, Andrew, had been diagnosed with cerebral palsy at the age of 3. It took a long time for him to start walking, and we got therapy when he was about 5 years old. So that's when I remember my mom and I going on the bus. We had enough money to eat potatoes, but we didn't have enough money to get on the bus and go to therapy. And it was 50 cents per person, so we'd have to ask for somebody for $1 and then another $1 to get back home. When she would ask me to get the money on the bus, I didn't feel humiliated at first. But as I got older, I started to see the way they looked at me, the pity, and I began to understand that I have to find a new way to make that money. I thought of it as a punishment, but it wasn't a punishment, it was a blessing. And I appreciate the world a lot more because of what I went through, because of my brother. I appreciate life a lot more, and he makes everything okay when he smiles and he laughs, and I know that when I'm stressed out and when I have too many things going on in school and when I have too much on my plate, I can look at him and I'll play ball with him or help him with his homework, and it'll be okay. Everything will be fine. As I grew older, I started to know that money was a necessity. I think I started to become kind of like that entrepreneurial individual, probably in 3rd grade. I made bracelets and I sold them for about $3 a piece. In middle school, I started to sell sour belts, and you put 10 of them in a bag and you sell them for $1. And I was making a lot of money. With this money, my mother and I would pay the gas and electric bill. I was a good student, so no one suspected me of selling these things. And the teacher started saying, oh yeah, well that person's gonna get really in trouble and we're gonna bust him. I was like, okay, it's time to put this business away. I don't need this on my permanent record. I think education is where I really motivate myself because I cannot let my family down. Because I'm just the only, I feel source of support they have.
John started distinguishing himself right away. He's very outgoing, very willing to participate. I've been teaching for 20 years now, and I've seen thousands of students, and there are just a few that you come across that you just know in your gut that can go way beyond their circumstances and just achieve great things. And John is absolutely one of those people.
Mom says I have way too much on my plate. Sometimes I agree with her. Sometimes I ask myself why, but I refocus and I think about all of the things that that I'm trying to accomplish in life. And this is just the path to get there.
Originally, the reason why I wanted to join martial arts was because I was scared of being beat up. I mean, you see these big bullies that are like twice your size. Anybody wanted to fight me, I didn't want to just stand there and let somebody hit me in the face. Like, I wanted to protect myself. And I worked and worked and worked hard, and my sensei saw that. So I was moving through the ranks more quickly than anybody else.
When he came here, it was like his release valve from his everyday, stress in life. He wanted to be here. He wanted to learn. My job as a teacher is not so much just teaching him how to defend himself, how to kick, how to punch, but to get inside here and in here, the heart, so that he started to believe in himself. Once he started to respect himself, I could see him growing and growing in his self-confidence. John is a perfectionist. It has to be this way. He has to make it as perfect as he possibly can. And that's one of his strongest assets. He only believes in one grade, an A. And I know when he didn't get an A because I could see that sadness in him. But all the years I've known John, I've never seen a quit in him. No sign of, I need a break from this. I can't do this anymore.
I was no longer selling things because I was afraid of getting caught. So my sensei offered me to work at the studio.
I've always told John, you need to make a difference. You're teaching them the martial arts, not just about learning how to kick and punch, but to have fun, to have respect, to have self-confidence, doing something great.
After the dojo and teaching the little kids and training, I have to go home, I help my little brother with his homework, do the dishes, make sure that my mother paid the bills. I think she's afraid of speaking English. She took courses and she didn't finish it. And I tell her, well, Mom, why don't you learn how to drive? She's like, well, I know that, John, you can take me here. I feel that I'm there and I help her so much that sometimes she views me as a crutch. ¿Cómo es para ti que yo hablo y que yo oigo de las otras personas?
Me siento bien y que me siento que estoy orgullosa de ti porque te gusta la escuela y todo.
She says that she's very happy for me to be speaking for her because she's very proud of me. So she said that. She's proud. She says that the problem is with just having the difficulties raising a child with disabilities. No quieres hablar de esa experiencia. It's too big for her to talk about.
Me siento mal. Me siento siento como es el apoyo que tengo con él, pero también quiero que estudie.
My mother wants me to stay here in California. I feel like by going to an out-of-state university, not just any out-of-state, the best, I think I'll be able to help my family out a lot in the long run. I think that I would be able to bring a sense of hope and possibly become a role model for a lot of students in my community.
This young man is so self-motivated, it actually inspires me sometimes, He is the finest example of, I'm getting kind of teary-eyed, am I? He's a finest example of a great person. I'm gonna miss him dearly because I know after this year I'm gonna lose him. The only way that he's gonna learn to be stronger and independent was to be out of state.
There's so much energy that I have because I'm stressed out. I use it in a positive way and try to truly motivate myself to push even harder, and I feel more focused. Even though I may be physically tired and my hands may be shaking, I know that once I walk out of there, I'm a better man. I'm ready to take on the world again.
Sometimes I get a good feeling, yeah. I get a feeling that I never had before. No, I get a good feeling.